The countdown to Super Bowl 51 is on, and if you're thinking about trying to go to the big game, book your trip as soon as possible, because as soon as fans see their favorite teams advance, bookings will spike, and so will prices. Joining us now is Nikki Ekstein with Bloomberg Pursuits. Walk us through here the timetable for doing this and how much demand there is to go to the Super Bowl year after year.
Well, you can imagine the demand climbs the more that fans realize that their team has a shot of actually making it all the way, right? But a lot of people think that this is kind of like New Year's Eve in New York City and Times Square, that you have to book 2 years out as soon as the hotel rooms open. That's not actually true. You can book now, which is, only 2 months or so before the big game, and you can still get a pretty decent deal. And in fact, prices won't truly start to spike for another 2 or 3 weeks even. So you've got a nice little window right now.
There is time left until the new year. Watching these games at home, I'm struck by how big of an event it is. I can turn on the TV at 5 a.m. and there is commentary well through the start of the game. How is a city like Houston preparing for it? In other words, were I to go, what would I see there besides the game itself?
Houston is undergoing a really interesting evolution right now, and they've poured in more than $500 million of development into their downtown core. They've built something out that's similar to New York's High Line. They've kind of renovated the entire quarter where all of their museums and cultural attractions are. So it's kind of a brand new city waiting to be in the spotlight, and this is the perfect opportunity for them, I think, to promote all that they've done. And so I think they're expecting a massive, massive impact, and they're ready for the world to put all eyes on Houston.
And they've been here before, right? This is a city that's hosted the Super Bowl, I think, 3 times. When you look at the challenges of getting a hotel room, never mind trying to find a ticket to the game itself, how difficult will that be, and is it possible to sort of stay very central to the action?
So, I wrote this story just a couple of days ago, and during the time that I was reporting it, I would refresh my hotel searches every couple of hours and just see what was going on. And up until a couple of days ago, you could find a room at the Four Seasons. You had a couple of good luxury options. They've all disappeared in the days since the story ran. But I think Airbnb is a really reliable option right now, especially considering that this morning when I looked, a La Quinta Inn was $600 a night. Airbnb, I still saw several hundred private apartment listings under $400 a night. So that's actually a really solid deal.
There is a new Marriott Marquis. I read your piece. This is a huge hotel they're building.
It's massive.
Sort of to coincide with the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so it kind of anchors that big downtown renovation project that I mentioned, and it's a 1,000-room hotel. It is enormous. This is Las Vegas scale, but it's sold out.
Sold out completely?
It's sold out. It's actually where the teams are staying. It's where all of their support staff will be staying. So that hotel will have quite a few restaurants, and it anchors this big public plaza. So I think the best way to kind of get that insider access to the stars, to the NFL players, is to go have a meal there.
Are there packages available? In other words, aside from me having to book the flight, find the ticket, the hotel room, et cetera, I imagine there are packages where you can get to go.
So you have to be really careful with this. I always think with big events, something as big as the Super Bowl especially, you always want to go through official channels. You don't want to get scalped tickets. You don't want to just buy a package from anyone who's putting something online. There's a company that actually works with the NFL as an official hospitality sponsor. And you can find all this information in the story that's on Bloomberg Pursuits right now. They're called OLE. And what you can do is you can buy a package through them that will allow you not only to get 50-yard line seats, it will also get you access to all of these big parties, access to the stars, and then when the game ends and somebody's taking that trophy home, you can be out on the field with them. It's like $12,000,
oh, wow.
But if you're already paying for those 50-yard line seats, it's not that much more.
Pull back the curtain a bit. How did you decide to write the piece? What got you interested in looking at sort of the economics of the Super Bowl?
Well, you know what? We've been doing a series at Pursuits, kind of looking at when the right moment is to book a trip to something iconic like the Super Bowl, something like Cinco de Mayo in Mexico, something like Carnival in Brazil, cherry blossom season in Japan. When do you book? You always think about it a little too late to make it work, and then you don't know the next year. So I partnered with a company called Hopper. They're an aviation insights company, and they've been helping me dig up the real stats and the real numbers behind when the prices start to spike, and so we'll be seeing some more of these stories.
Have you been before? Do you have a team that you are hoping will make it?
Ooh, you're putting me on the spot. I am a Miami Dolphins fan. I'll put that out there. Sorry, New Yorkers, Jets fans. But I just love the sport, and I love watching, and I look forward to seeing who we'll be rooting for.